Okay. Okay, so welcome back to Color Theory. This is session 4 of 4, I believe, and this is our last class. And this week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a simple subject that's in white, a white object, and we are going to draw this object, and we are going to do 3 different color studies, one monochromatic, and the other 2 can be uh, color schemes of your choice. So that could mean you want to do a triad, a complementary color scheme, a split complement, etc. That would be up to you and your choice. But the first thing I want you to do is I have this uh, card. It's just an index card, and we're going to use that first to trace. I'm going to trace a square here that, not a square, or a rectangle that I'm going to use to set up the rectangle that I'd like to do the drawing of the cup in. And I'm using tracing paper so that it's easy for me to transfer this drawing 3 times to the surface so that I don't have to keep drawing this over and over again. All right, so I just need to switch, well, not really switch, but okay, here we go. Do is zoom in a bit here. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Drawing. Let's make sure that that's up on the screen. Okay, so that's pretty good. Not bad. It's a little skewed because in perspective here, but you'll get the idea. And let's see, bring up this full picture. I have a full folder where I have this cup. So for the rest of the class, I'm going to bring it up big so that we can all see it better when we draw it. Move that off to the side over here. If you're at home, you're hearing me talk, but you're not necessarily seeing what I'm doing because I'm bringing something else up on the screen. Okay, so for the rest of the class, here is a nice cup. It's already in black and white. Let's see, right and up. I'm going to draw the table line here so that I have some kind of reference. And, it's kind of a nice geometric shape. I'm not going to labor over it too much because, again, our main goal here is, the color scheme. Gotta make sure I got my angles right, though. Remember? Going for angles. That's better. Actually, this comes out a little bit more. So this is actually kind of a mirror. I'm going to draw a center line down there for the saucer. Oh. that. So you'll see that, this has a thickness to it, that saucer, right, that the cup sits on. And we can see that here from this angle. So I'm going to make sure that I kind of just make a faint reference to that. The fact that, this has an edge and that has its own value, no matter what color scheme we pick. And then here, I drew, all right, I have a center line, so it's going to go up above here. So what I may do here is I'm going to just draw like an ellipse first, and then firm up that shape of my cup. And there are some edges, interestingly here, that look like they kind of disappear. All right, so here, to make reference to this. So that kind of gets absorbed in that edge. Very hard for me to see. But I'm doing my best here. There's like a triangle there. There's a triangle. Triangle here. It comes around like this. See that? So I could see all those geometric shapes there. And and then there is this ellipse. Where the bottom of that cup is, it sits. Okay. And this back line I don't really see, but I'll just put that in for now. And then I know that, okay, what do I have here? I have like this crescent shape here, goes into the bottom. This is like a little inset. Small reference to that. And then of course, we have our cup, and that comes out like this. I see something I missed. Kind of get splayed out, and now I can go ahead and start putting those angles in. Okay. And now there happens to be, see the lip of the cup, around the lip there, that has, in the front, you can see that that has some kind of a width. So we want to make sure we record that. Might be a little bit off over here. All right, so and then we have reference to hold on. So that comes up. You know what? I am just gonna just describe this generally here and just make, I can always correct this while I'm painting. I don't have to get too detailed. Save the details for the paint. But at least what we have is a nice start so that we know where all the main planes of the cup are. There we go. And I know this. I can make a reference to those planes. I may leave some of those textures off. We don't need to belabor that. I'm going to erase the inside there so I don't get confused. And I also want to make reference to that cast shadow because that is going to have impact on my drawing, on my painting, I should say. Oh, this actually comes out a little bit like that, then like this. I'm not going to fill it in or anything. Okay, so I have that, and I'm going to redraw my table line. Okay. Let's darken some of these lines. That's pretty good. And as far as the bottom, I'm just going to I'll make the planes, but I'm not going to get too lost in any of the other details there. Because this gets obscured by that edge. All right, good enough. Good enough for a little cup drawing. So I have that on my tracing paper. And what I can do from there is I'm going to flip this over. I can see through it. Let's put this, I'm going to put this white card behind it so we can see it better. I'm just going to retrace over the lines I drew so that I can just transfer it to my surface, whether it's paper or the canvas. So here we go. Thicker than the actual line I might see. Oh, I'm running out of lead here. Okay. Okay. I just love the shape of this cup. Okay. So I retrace that. I'll make a correction along the way. I need to get in. For demonstration, I'm going to use the smaller sheet. Larger ones. So I can use this again. And I need to zoom out a little bit here so you can see this better. I'm sorry, what? Can you bring the cup down? Not yet. Cup. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay. So there's the cup. The cup is still up here, too. Yeah. All right. Oh, we're getting sunlight in here. There's the cup. Where is that coming? It's coming from this. Okay, we're back. Back to business over here. All right. So, let's see. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to arrange this, put this up here in the upper right corner. You can put it wherever you want. I just want to leave enough room so that I could record my little swatches and do any writing that I want to do around it. Now, if you have the bigger sheet of paper or the bigger sheet of canvas, you know, you could do it in 3 columns if you want to for your rectangles. I'm just going to use this one for now. Okay. All right, so I have that rectangle drawn out again. So now I'm going to line this up with my rectangle, the same size rectangle on my tracing paper, and I'm going to transfer my drawing. If you want to secure it with tape, you can. There's tape up there. I'm just going to take my chances. Did everybody have a nice Thanksgiving? Wonderful. Glad to hear that. It was very nice. I stayed home and made a nice dinner, and it was pretty much just my family and I, and then my came over later after he uh, visited my aunt in rehab, and it was let's see I'm pretty famous for forgetting things when I trace. Okay, so I got when I'm done, I'm probably going to be, making some other adjustments, but I'm doing pretty good here so far, I think. This first one. So I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to darken this drawing a bit. Maybe I'll even make some corrections, or maybe not. I kind of just like to do things on the fly. But, you know, let's see. Come back over here. Oh, you know what? There's a little hint of a wedge over here where that side is. So put that in. There we go. Okay. All right. That's looking all right. Let's get this shadow shape in. I think we're pretty good here. Get that table line. Good. Okay. So I have that done. Once we have that done, our next step is to, of course, get our water ready, get our palette established, and start mixing some colors so that we can come up with some swatches. Starting out monochromatically, you know, we're going to pick that one color, okay, and we're going to mix different value. We're going to mix a value range of that one color that we pick. So that means that we're going to, on one end, we're going to be mixing, I'll demonstrate this. We're going to be mixing it with black, and then we're going to be mixing it with white, and then we'll create this full range of values that we can use for our cup. So up here, I'm just going to write, I've decided that I'm going to use a combination of, I'm going to mix ivory black plus burnt umber together. I decided to do sepia tone. You could pick any color that you want. Probably, well, yeah, you can pick any color you want. Absolutely. This will work. Ivory black plus burnt umber. And then I'm going to use titanium white. Well, because I already have the ivory black. So I'm going to start out with something black. In my case, if the color, since the color that I'm starting out with is going to have a really, really dark value, I'm going to, you know, it's going to you know, my process might be a little bit different.
I like to do like blues and oranges.
We're going to start with monochromatic first.
Oh, okay.
Well, you don't have to start with monochromatic first. If you want to pick something different, go ahead. It doesn't matter.
It'd be good for us to have that one experience with the one color. Then it's easier to focus on the pick whatever one color you want to work with. What I did. Unless it's use one thing. Oh, all right, so I'm gonna make the purple. With maximum magenta, and let's see. That's, so I'm gonna redo my, that name on. I was just trying to do, warm values and cool values, like separate. And that the light is gonna give you a lot of that warm, and the shadows are gonna give you a lot of cool.
Well, for monochromatic, we're not necessarily. But it's typically just one. And then I'm gonna pick black. Black. Black at one end. Like a rose. Together. Blue that reflects violet.
Alizarin.
Alizarin. Use alizarin. Absolutely. Oh, I need some paper towels. Okay, so we're changing this up. My one color is going to be, I'm going to mix, it's going to be cobalt blue. Well, let's see. Q magenta plus cobalt blue. So I'll mix that together and I'll put that there. I'll put the titanium white and the ivory black over here. So let's do that. And that's what I'll do to record. I'm going to record my colors. Well, because this is going to, I'm going to mix these together to make one color purple. And I'm only going to use that one color purple. And I'm either going to I'm going to make tints and shades of that one color. That's what it means to be monochromatic. Monochromatic is when you take one color, and it could be one color that you mix from other colors, and then the only thing that you use is you either use white to lighten it and black to darken it. Okay, so even though, yes, I have two colors here, those two colors are going to be mixed. It's going to be a preset mix. I'm not going to modify it any further, okay? I'm going to stick with whatever combination comes out of this, and that's going to be it. So it'll either get lighter in value or darker in value, but the hue will not change. The hue will be constant. The only thing you change is value.
with the monochromatic. Go on to another color involving more than one color. Well, not only will you be thinking about hues or different values, then you're going to be doing different hues as well. So if we start out like this, it'll make that transition a little bit easier. Okay, which is why I wanted you to start with. I wanted you to start with. Yes. So we're painting. You're painting. I transferred the image onto a piece of sheet canvas because I'm using acrylic paint. I also, if you're using watercolor, I have some watercolor paint up there. The question is, how did you get that image onto the paper? When I press on the tracing paper, nothing happens. Right, because you have to flip it over, retrace it, and then flip it back. Yeah, because you have to have the pencil, the graphite on the side to make the transfer. Actually, probably should have brought. It's okay if you did it backwards. It doesn't really matter. You're just gonna have to flip your. Yeah, if you want. But what I suggest you do is don't do the reverse image because then you're going to be confused when you're looking at the reference. So put the graphite on the back first and then flip it over and retrace it on your surface that you're going to paint on. So retrace the cut. Or just, you could, just put graphite on the whole thing and then the transfer would be retracing. And then the graphite that's on the back. Yep. Okay, so I'm putting this aside for a sec. Let's see. Make sure everything's in view. So. And let's see. All right, so then I'm going to mix some colors. And let's see. So I don't know what color, how deep of a blue of a purple do I want. Let's see what happens when I just mix them both together, right? Because that magenta is going to be pretty intense, so it doesn't really matter. So I'll just mix it. And that's pretty dark in value, I think. Like it's almost practically black, right? So I have this one color purple that I have on my palette, and then I just want to either lighten it, create tints, or shades. Okay, so let's do that. You can't mix oils and acrylics together. No, so it's either one or the other. So just it could be any color. You could just pick blue if you want to. Yeah, you don't have to do what I'm doing. You pick whatever color you want to work with. It's still the same process, still the same method. So we're going to either darken it or lighten it. And here it looks to me like I'm going to smush this over closer to the black because the color, my resulting color is so dark in value that really, if I take a little bit of this here next to and mix a little bit of black in there, then that's really all the range I need for that. So yeah, so here I'm just going to take some of that, mix a little bit of black into it, and I really don't need to create any other steps in between that because it's already so dark. So that's a judgment call that you need to make. It's dependent on what the value of your resulting one color is,
either how many steps black you need to make or how many steps white. So for the particular color that I mixed, I'm going to be mixing a lot more tints into it. Uh,
Altogether, how many colors are you using?
I'm sorry, what?
Altogether, how many colors are you using? Three or four different mixes?
It could be more. It could be more depending. I would say limited, you know. All right, so I have my white here. I'll push that over so that I can make enough steps. So let's take, I'm going to mix like an in between the two of them. Let's see. Let's see, here's an in between. I'm going to pick a range that's like somewhere in between the two. That looks pretty light. So maybe I'll move that over here. And I'll mix. Let's see how this is. So there's that. And I think I can get another value in there, probably on either side. Let's see. So I'll mix a little bit of this, a little bit of that. See if I can get it in between those two. I might not need all of these different colors, but value ranges, but at least they'll be there. And two, what'll happen is we'll be mixing more. They'll blend together on the canvas or surface that you're working with. And that will be nice too. All right, so now I'm going to get in between these two. And that might be good enough to do. Right. I just want, a range of values to use. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm going to take that color that I mixed, and I'm going to put that up here, the main color. That was where I started, right? Okay, these are colors that I used. Take some ivory black over here. Some of the white. That's even going to show, but there we go. Okay. All right. Okay. And I think down below, let's see, I'm going to put the white there, and I'm going to record what the range is, just informally. Oh, you know what? I do want to get another tint in here, so let's do that. I have the opportunity, so I'll get another range in there. Okay, so I have this, I have this. And then we have that one. this. Let's see. Did I do that one? Nope, I didn't. This one. Then I have this one. It's pretty nice to have, see all this range of color, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have the original. This is my original color. Where that I have this one. And then I have the black. And then finally the black. So there we go. We have that. So I can also take this a little bit further, especially with, I could take these whites and I can add just a tiny bit of black in them, right? In this range here, and I can get something that's less saturated. So let's take some of that. 2, 3. You know, some of these colors that have the white in them. Right? And if I take those, and I take a little bit, just a tiny bit of the black, and I can make some desaturated shades in that range. See how it gets a little bit dull? So I can create some grays there. So let's see, I'll take that over here. So it's a little bit duller. So we can, what I'm doing here is I'm just taking it a step further. That I kind of got too much gray. Let's see. There we go. Add a little bit of black to that. So that gives me even more of a range. So you really have, you really do have a lot of color options or tint and shade options. And this might change the hue a little bit, but it's still considered monochromatic because you're still with the same purple. Right? So here we have even richer colors to work with. There, so that gives us more possibilities. Spritz to keep it. Now I'm using acrylic, so it's just water. If you're working with oils, you don't need to worry about that. Um, with watercolors, sometimes watercolors can dry out. You might want to have it for that. Yep, just with one color and black and white, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're just going for a range. All right, so I am going to take this off. I'm going to put this aside for a minute because I want to retrace it on another piece of canvas. And I mean, we'll paint this, I'll paint this up later, but I want to be able to demonstrate what to do. Uh, and that one got messed up. And trace this again onto another so that we can show, I'll do a complementary, but I'll use the violet. I'm still going to use the violet, and the opposite of violet is yellow. So it'll still be, don't want us to miss out on doing the color scheme. Let's see. Oh, get that picture back up here. Okay. All right. Darken this up again really quick. I can see somewhere. All right, so I have this, and let's see. mix that violet again. This aside. Do another mixture, this time using complementary. Here. So I would line them up from, like light to dark. So that you can see what you're yeah. Just underneath. Well, you might use a different, put it like underneath. Uh, but you see how I recorded the range. Okay. So I'm going to put this aside and the drawing. I'm going to go ahead and start mixing some colors here for complementary color scheme. So here again, all right, I'm going to use that same purple. Make sure I have enough there. Okay, then I have that I'm going to use. It's going to be, let me record these. Move any further. So it's going to be yellow oxide or yellow ochre, and then here it's going to be, the Q magenta plus the cobalt blue. And then of course we have the white and the black. I'm going to record those up there. Let's see. Put that swatch there. Put the ochre over here. Titanium white over there. And the ivory black. Now, again, this is going to be complementary color scheme. And what's nice about this is we're going to get an even neater range of color. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that on this palette. All right. So let's see. So we have the ochre. This there. And I should move this all the way over here. show a range between those two colors. So let me take a lot of that and put that over here. There we go. And so let's see. I'm going to make a color that's in between those two ranges there. See, it comes out to be like this brown. Isn't that neat? Have that, and I can put it in different piles. What I do slide that yellow ochre over there. Here, slide it all the way over there. And let's see. So I'm going to get in between. Maybe I'll do 2 steps, just 2. There and there. So when you mix complements together, they, brown out or gray out each other. And that's what you're seeing here. Range, and then I'll take a little bit of that. And we'll get in between there. Could go a little bit darker there. Let's move this over here. There we go. So we have that range. Let's move this back over here. Mix that better. Okay. All right. So that and that. It still could be a little bit deeper. Let's do that. We want to see more of a difference. Okay, that's better. All right. So I have here this range. So, you start with, halfway in between the two, and then you go ahead and mix the other ratios. You keep, mixing steps together to get in between steps, and that'll work out okay. Okay, so here, so I'm going to push that over. And now I want to get in between those two, so here we go. In between that. So now we're going to get a cooler hue because there's more of that cooler blue. And actually, let's move this over. There. When I'm done mixing, then I'll put it on my palette. Here's that muddy color. Good. So we have a full range of the mud that comes in between those colors. Well, from here, I can take each of these colors, right? And I can add white to it to get tints of each of them. And then I can take the black and get shades of each of these. So then you have it even.
No, I know that what I'm asking is, though, can the white be used as just white?
Oh, absolutely.
And the
Yeah.
black can be used as just
Yeah.
black?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. You can. Um, yeah, but it'll be, of course, it'll be more harmonious if you put a touch of one of those colors, a touch of the color in the white, or a touch of the color in the black.
Okay.
Um, but you know, there's no rule to say that you can't use, you know, that. So I'm going to record this really quick. Uh, but what I want to explain here is, okay, so I have the option. I can take each of these colors that I mix, the complements, and I can create shades or tints by, you know, I can go this way, either up or down on my palette to get the black, those mixtures with black and mixtures in white. So hold that thought because that's how I want to record it on my my study here. So let me move this over. And I'm going to put a line here, and then I'm going to leave enough space so that I can put, you know, what it looks like with black and then what it looks like with white, just to give us an idea. Okay, all right, so all right, okay, so that's ochre. It's there. I'm using the palette knife so that, you know, it's easier to just wipe. Actually, I need some more towels. I think the whole process is a lot of fun, though. Okay, all right. So there you have that. And now I can take some black, and I'm going to put little piles of black here so that I'm able to mix that with each color and get even more swatches. So there, mix that. Yeah, you also have green in between here. This is just a darker green. So maybe I'll put it up here. Maybe I can get in between. You can get so when I think of you can get, you know, 8 different values from even more interesting. Get even more interesting. And this is like a really nice gold color. But each slightly different. So form of mud. Look at all this mud. You know, that's what you get when you're working with complements, right? Such a beautiful range of mud. We got all these options, right? Beautiful purples and beautiful browns. Just a really interesting range of colors to choose from here. Deep purple, black purple. So just think of all the different, the interesting darks that you can make. You know, that that would be more interesting to use than black. We have colors here that read as black, but that aren't black and that are chromatic blacks, which are much more interesting. That's the beauty of putting color theory into practice. Now, on the bottom here, go in and mix white into all these. So then again, I can go down the line. Yes. Oh, this is obstructing the view. Hold on. Okay. So I mixed it with black, and now I'm going to mix these colors with white. Let's see what I get. Now, like I said, you can get the in between for those. I'll leave a space in between for that. Now look at that. That's a beautiful warm light there, right? It has just with the ochre, and then here you have light that has a touch of purple in it. That's a little less saturated. It's just amazing the range of color that you can get just by picking two colors. See, now that gets even duller. Like even, wow, you can, there's flesh tones in here. Even, then they could be, they make some of the most beautiful browns that you might see in a flesh tone. So, you know, you don't have to buy a flesh tone in a tube. You use, you know, make it more interesting. Oh, these beautiful browns and tans. That's, oh, this one has got a touch of violet in it. It just looks so nice. Taupe. It looks taupey, like a little bit on the taupe side. More violet in it. Ooh, it's like this beautiful muted violet over here. Wow, it looks so good. And then we have the pure violet, which is really, really bright. See how intense that is? But in between, that's intense, and then this is more intense. But everything where the complements mix together in between creates these beautiful grayed or grayed out, browned out tones. So here, let's see, I could take, let's take a little bit here and a little bit from this pile, and I'll mix it right up here and get it in between that canvas. Take a little bit of that, and a little bit of this. So really, you have a world of possibilities from a limited palette. This is, you know, limited palettes are some of the most beautiful palettes that you can work with. And one of the best things about it is that you're guaranteed a certain level of color harmony, right? Because all of these colors, you know, they work together. Now, if I pick two analogous colors, like red and yellow, then I wouldn't be getting as dull of a combination of colors. Like I would probably wouldn't be mixing browns. It would be a range of oranges, for example. Hey. Okay, so now I can come over here and I got my little. So shades up here, tints up there, and this is where I started. Okay, this was the original combination. This was the yellow ochre, and this was the hue magenta plus cobalt blue right there. And then this is just a range of lights and darks. Okay, so I'm going to put here, up here, these will be shades. That's shade. And these are tints. When you mix white, you get shade up on top, mixed with black, goes with our tints. Let's take some of this, get some of that in between. Okay. So we have our two color palettes that we can use to paint our cup. We have two examples of color palettes. Let's bring this up a little bit. So we have our complementary color scheme, and we have monochromatic color scheme. Over so you can see that better. There we go. That being said, we can go ahead and paint our little cup. Paint our little cups with all these beautiful colors. Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. You'd be doing free colors. Oh, maybe I can mix that up really quick. You want to see a split complement? All right, so we'll do that. So I'm not going to paint the cups. I'll put that aside, put these aside, and then We'll do a split complement palette mixing here. Okay, that's that. Okay, so what can I pick for my split complement? Let's see. Where's my color wheel? Violet or blue violet. So I can still pick, or do you want to do like red and green? You pick the complement, and what complement should I start with for the split complement? Let's pick something. Anything. Cream? No, green. Green. Well, we could. The opposite of green is red, so we can do it either way. So I'll either be using a yellow green or a blue green with red, okay? Or a red or red violet, red orange with green. Red. You use the same blues or red tones and you wouldn't stick with the same red. The red, which is more in the red orange, right? So let's see. So the opposite to that could be green and blue, right? So using your this will be able to create. I think I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick a category. Okay, so all right, so I need two different greens for to make my split complement. One's going to be more blue. need a yellow, green, blue. I should have picked yellow. Doesn't matter. Cerulean blue is a good blue green. Let's take some of this, mix it with that. Okay, so it's almost like a turquoise. You can mix like a turquoise color.
Cadmium red.
Hmm?
Is cadmium red your main color?
Yeah.
Cerulean blue
And then I picked the cerulean blue because that was kind of like a blue, already a blue green.
complement.
Yeah.
Then how do we get the split? And the split becomes
Well, that's the split.
green.
Because, all right, so you're starting out with a red that's like an orange red,
Okay.
right? The opposite of orange is blue, and the opposite of red is green, right? So,
Oh, got it.
so yeah, so I'm doing that kind of a split. So it's going to be these two greens, like a yellow green and a blue green, is what I'm going for. Okay, so we have that plus. All right, so we're going to have, so we have the red and we have those two greens. So then the next thing we need to do is uh, mix. I'm going to take some of the red, right, and get, okay, so what, if I mix both of those greens with the red, what do I get? And you get something grayed out, right? And then I take this yellow, more yellow green and mix that in with the red. And that gives me that range. So it's a different hue. Actually, that's going to be warmer. So, okay, so with the green that has more yellow in it, you end up with, you know, just another hue. It's actually a warmer brown, grayed out red. See that? So you got that range. And let's see. So if I go over here, I have cadmium red and I have cerulean blue plus cad yellow light. You have two different combinations. One has more blue, more of the blue, and then in this combination plus cad yellow light, we have more of the cadmium yellow. So here we go. So I'm going to put these are the colors that I'm starting with. And I put the plus next to the one, you know, it's a combination of the same, but you could see, you know, how it being a contrasting palette, how it really, all those together really make a pleasing palette. And then from here, okay, oh, actually, all right, so I start with that, okay. Now I'm going to put this has that plus red, right? So hold on a sec. All right, so now I have the red, right? Red over here, and then the red over here. And on the opposite end, I have one of the split complements there. Sorry. One of the split complements there. Then the next one over here, right? One that has more yellow. And let's see. This was the in-between, right? That range. And then this was the in-between for that, right? So then what I need to record is, okay, so what's the range in between that? So let's just, I'm just going to take a little bit here and get what's in between that, which is here. And then I'll take the green, right? Mix that over here. Take a little bit of that. Get an in between of that. And now you can mix that further to get those in betweens. And now I'm going to do it with, so I'm going to take a little bit of this and then a little bit of red. Okay, so I'll mix that together and that's going to give me that in between. And then over here, I have the lighter green, right? Lighter green combo. Mix a little bit of that with this, the in between there, and then I'll get that. And you could say these are cooler and those are warmer because this had more blue and that had more yellow, so you get that. So now from here, now I can mix black and white to get tints and shades of the original colors, plus by mixing black and white to each of these lines, I can also multiply my range. And that gives me a complete color scheme, complementary color scheme, and a range of values and also hues and saturations, different saturations. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So I didn't really get a chance to, actually paint the cup, but I felt it was important for you to see the mixing and what your possibilities could be for adding it to. So let's, I don't know, some of you got a chance to do the cup. So again, from here, what I would do is I would be mixing black and white to get tints and shades of all of these to go to that next step, just like I did with the complementary scheme and, the monochromatic. See how I mix the blacks and the whites. So it's so much fun to work with color like this. Um, I just love it. I mean, I could just sit here and mix colors all day. Just
I mean, I sort of abandoned the actual shading started just to play with how
Yeah.
the colors were working
Uh
together.
huh.
And
How do you?
it's really nice.
It
Pretty.
is. It
And
is
especially
pretty.
now I did the cast shadow in black and see how wrong that is, how it's not working.
Yeah.
With the amazing.
I'm going to come around and take a look at what you guys have. Um, I'm going to, just so that we can see. I got to get this. Using my phone as a webcam app. Okay. Hold on a sec. Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. So just to give you a recap, okay, so we have our complementary color scheme with the violet and the yellow. That's the palette. And here's the little recorded study there. Okay, we have back to our monochromatic. That's the palette. Here is, the actual beginning of the color study where we're mapping out the colors. And then here what we have started is a split complementary color scheme, okay, where we have an even greater range of options here, okay. Well, without mixing the black and white, that would be the next step there. So now we're going to go ahead and let's look around the room and see what we picked. Let's see how we do. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed doing this.
Beautiful.
Tried to more or less keep the shadows, but it
Yeah.
really got abandoned. But it was just really fun to see all these different shades.
Yeah.
But you see what I mean about how the black is so wrong?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it could be, let's see, what do we got? Oh, look at how beautiful. Oh, gorgeous.
Phthalo blue.
All right. Nice. Loving it. Okay, let's see. What else we
I
have?
didn't paint the cup, but I did mix a bunch of colors.
Okay,
So much fun.
all right. Good, so we have a bunch of different color schemes to work with. Awesome. All right. I want to take some
So I
other
just
shots.
did basically monochromatic.
Nice.
3 colors.
Very good. Yes. Okay. All right, I'm going to go switch back. Sorry about the choppiness here. Going back to the desk. Let's switch back to here. And we're going to take some pictures. Yeah, so please continue with this. Actually, put the pink. That is it for today. Hopefully, I'll be able to continue this in a separate uh, video. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see you the next class. Well, this particular class is over, but you can catch us in other classes here at the Guild.